I do highly recommend you have ChatGPT, and with that, you will have access to Codex, which is available in all their plans, Pro or Plus. So if you have the $20 a month plan, you will have access, and that's what we're going to work on today. So I also am going to use GitHub. I really think it's really important that you learn to use this because it's going to speed up your work. And as we keep advancing with technology and so forth, I think GitHub is just a really important tool for you to be able to bring your code over. This AI stuff is pretty incredible. So don't, try not to get frustrated if it's not done in 10 minutes or a half an hour or an hour or even a day. You need to spend time on it. Like VibeSheet took me, just to get this Google Sheet working, was 3 months worth of work. And, I've had weeks where I've put in 80 to 100 hours. So it's a lot of effort to get code balanced. What you think is simple can be actually a lot to it. So for this to auto generate like this and get you tools and stuff you can tinker on, it should be okay if you're going to spend a little bit of time on these to get them working. But they're all custom. You'll own the code. You'll know how to update them. There's a lot of power with that, where, if you use a no-code solution, you may not get that. So anyways, just keep in mind, if this takes you a few hours, that's light speed ahead of where we were, say, even 2 years ago. So I highly recommend GitHub. We're going to click here and launch the sidebar for GitHub. So anyways, I clicked there's a link here. This kicks you over to create a token. You'll need those tokens. I have some in here. One's expired, one's still good, but I'm going to generate a new one. I'm going to use the classic, and you'll just put in your pass key and continue. And then let's see, we'll call this the Big 10 test vibe. So that'll be the name of it. Yeah, we won't worry about it. But this right here, I'm going to take it, I'm going to paste in this hover. Let's see if it right here. This is the main account name. And I'm just going to paste this in and then save credentials. At this point, we're kind of done with VibeSheet. We're going to, for this Google Sheet one, we're going to create a new spreadsheet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all the way to the end of my tabs. And then I'm going to open up ChatGPT. And specifically, I'm going to open up Codex. Now, I may still need ChatGPT, so generate multiple solutions. You can pick the best. Oh, wow. Interesting. So manage environment. So here's where we have to go and connect the repository from GitHub to the account and then actually create what they call an environment. So you're basically downloading. So create the environment. I don't know how many of these we can have, or if we can even delete them once they're uploaded. So I picked my name, and we're going to go and find the LTD one. I'll come to search LTD. There we go. Should do much with it. I don't need to install anything. It's just a Google Sheet. So we'll create the environment. We can start to optimize it. So we'll click on use this, it looks like. And mind you, we'll say remove any duplicate functions and keep the best function. And we'll hit code, which is basically update the code. So it's working on the task. The next task, and we'll run this after, is add any missing functions that should be in place. And once this is done, after we remove any duplicate functions, then we're going to add any missing functions. There we go. Really did find some negatives here. So we're going to click over. It looks like it removed on open. And from this date difference, okay, it did add an on open to this file and it wasn't needed here. And then it also found on open in another file. So it did repeat them. So that's good that it did that. So from here into our GitHub, and then once that's over there, we need to go over to GitHub and actually finish the process. So we view the pull request. And here it is. This is the actual pull request. There's going to be summary notes here. And then what we're going to do is there's a green thing here. It says merge pull request. And you just want to make sure that you confirm the merge. And that's going to update everything. So here we go. So I'm going to click back and I already have this text here. So we're going to add any missing. The next thing we'll do is we'll say fix or blockers in the code. So these are the 3 VibeSheet, and it could be running this on 4 cycles would solve a lot of this. However, regardless of the cycles, I would still do the same thing. So you can see the first one we had remove. Now we have add functions. You can see we did add some things. Preferences AP will view the pull request and we'll merge and then confirm. You can read it all if you refresh, you'll notice it's gone. So we'll close this window and we'll click back and then fix any bugs or blockers in the code. So these are very high level things. I'm not telling it to do anything specific yet. You can see these say merged. That means you're done. The code has been already merged with GitHub, so you can archive these. So it was adjusting some bugs, fixing some problems. And it might be little stuff, like you can see there's an extra script tag up here. I did see that in the VibeSheet. It tried to fix that, but it didn't for some reason. And that might be something I can look at in the future. Like make sure, it might just be we gotta put in something to make sure it doesn't happen. So anyways, we'll do the pull request, merge, confirm, and that's it. If I refresh, that pull request should be gone. So I'm good there. And I'll hit back. And that changed to merge. So that also I want to make sure that's happening. Is archive. You got to click in the middle. It added a few things here. Oh, this is to make sure the sheet opens at the same time. So that's cool. The means the sidebar stuff was actually working. It just added in to open the sheet up at the same time, which is kind of nice. And we'll go down and merge and confirm merge. And we'll refresh. Now it says merged there. And if I close this and I hit back, you'll notice this also picks up that same value. So now I can archive it. Let's see. I could, we could ask it to update the UX and just make sure it's extra nice. So we could say update the UX and update the UX and UI to make it extra fancy with spinner on sidebar. And yeah, let's see. Ensure that sidebar loads and displays data correctly. And I think that's correctly from the LTD sheet. There should be a little bit of a dashboard in the Okay. Yeah, it did quite a bit there. We'll have to see what it did at a glance. Looks like this is HTML. So this top part is for styling. So it added a spinner and looks like it added a spinner. And yeah, it's all spinner. So it just made it fancy. So when you click on stuff, it kind of makes it look nice. Sidebar UI services had some stats. So it's grabbing stats. So that's good. I'm not really spending much time reading it. Like you can just read the name of the function and kind of get an idea of what it's doing. So then I click on view pull request again and click merged, confirm. You know, and I know you can't see the Google Sheet, and this is kind of a challenge, but I just recommend at least sitting and running these short commands if you want to make sure that they're you get these in place ahead of time. So that's good. I think it's okay. You might consider one last time, like fix any errors or bugs. Fix any errors or bugs or blockers to ensure that the code runs. Update the LTD Google Sheet to make sure the row height is 60px and the colors are fancy and we have nice styling. I'm just going to do one last thing. I just want the sheets to look good, and let's just remind the code to fix anything if it sees it. So we'll send that through one more time. And so what will happen now is this will complete using Codex for this. What we'll do is we've got our Google Sheet here, and we're going to go through clicking on app script and actually building this out. So, this tool is frankly a pretty simple tool. It's not overly complicated. We can add functionality and build it out over time. At least it's a good stepping point towards having something. Now you've got two files. I've gone over this before in some of my other videos, but I do want to mention there's only two types of files. You can do a .gs, which is Google script, or you can do .html. Now here's the cool thing. All of the code that's a GS, I'm just going to go down this list one at a time. And, so if I click here on this first one, this is a GS file. you'll notice it'll open up, and then I'll have this nice highlighted sidebar on the left. And what I can do is just go down this list file. I'll just ignore those. I'm not going to do those yet. So I'm going to click on copy, and I'm basically just going to start filling this out. So if I hit enter, I'm just going to quickly go through all these GS files. So I'm going to focus on this. Probably won't say much. I've talked about this stuff before and talked on each step, but I'm going to just go ahead and get it done. And it won't take long. And as you get used to this, if you want to be careful and move these things into the right files, you could. I like to just do one big one, though. I think that sometimes it's easier just to paste all of this back into ChatGPT. And if the amount of code is not giant, you're under 4,000 or 5,000 lines, generally you're okay. And on these smaller projects, like we're actually not asking for big projects. I mean, VibeSheet will give you big projects. You can get 2,000 to 5,000 lines of code out of these things I've seen. For this, though, we're not doing that. For this, they're a little bit smaller. And we're already up to 700 lines. It's still quite a bit of functionality. Oops. And do this last one. I'd say we're around 1,000 to LTD Tracker. And we got to make it sound fancy. So we got to say 1.01. The 01 makes it even more fancy. And from here, we'll refresh. And we should see a little menu up here. And it did not load. So what we'll do is go into extensions, app script, and we're going to take a look at the executions. We'll figure out what happened. So failed, on open failed. Gmail alert dispatcher is not defined. So it looks like we're missing a function potentially. So getting error, paste this in, and then here is the code to review and fix. And what we'll do is we'll quickly just go into this code.gs file. We're going to copy everything. So Control A, Control C, and we're going to paste everything in because we're vibe coders. We are going to go with the vibe, which is just, hey, here's everything. You're assigning, but the variable object doesn't exist. Fix. Okay, so I'll say provide the updated function for copy and paste. And then I'm just going to try to find this in the code. Here we go. My goal is I just got to swap this out, it looks like, is what it's looking like. Send email. This is an email thing. So, as we're getting closer to stuff, this is the email alert. Check all URLs. So send email. So I'm going to swap that out. One more. What does this say? All right. So we'll just take again, copy this, come back here and new error, paste that in, hit enter. Already added all the code in, so I'm not too worried about it. Replace this line with nothing at all because you've already defined the function earlier. So this needs to be deleted is what it's saying. So editor. Yeah, so there's the function it's saying we already had. And then this is the line that we need to delete, I believe. Yep. So this is the line. It's saying delete this line. So if we come look, it's saying, you know, this line right here, if I go and I just hit copy and I go and I search this whole thing, it's going to bring this up. So this is what I got to delete. Hit save. And I'm going to refresh. There we go. It opened. So we only had 2 little things. Not too bad. LTD Tracker, the sidebar stuff here. So I'm going to send a screenshot of this and update the sidebar to display data. And we should have a button that allows us to process if the URLs are live or not. You know what? It may have not have been clear. So I am seeing question marks. We should either turn these into buttons. At this point is I'm going to ask the AI for some data to populate in here. And we're going to go through and get all these buttons working real quick. So might take another 15 or 20 minutes, but then we'll be done with this LTD tracker sheet. So we're just going through, we'll customize this. The code got us quite far along. So we're just going to go through and just make sure this works. I will say this, I've fed better requirements of VibeSheet and it will come back with a little bit cleaner stuff. So I might have just not have been specific enough. So that could be something I got to look at with VibeSheet. But, you know, am I much further along as far as like the idea and getting this built out? I think so. But at this point, it's pretty fast cleanup and just making sure that the functions are working exactly how we want with ChatGPT. And since you have a base code from VibeSheet, it should be pretty quick for you to get things in place. If you wanted to rebuild it and get something even larger and more robust, you can update all the requirements, rebuild it in VibeSheet, bring it back over. I still don't think you'd be wasting your time, you know, for you to be able to code something out in a few hours versus a few weeks as a beginner. I think this is great. So see, provide me test data to copy and paste into Google Sheet for testing. I am not sure if I entered the data incorrectly. Please provide the correct. It knows what to lay out and how based upon functionality can run successfully. So index 1 should be here. Name is off sheet. Yeah, so here we go. Let's see, can we just cut and paste? It'd be nice to do that. There we go. Now some of these may be false, right? And some of them might be real. So the false ones are okay. And those are good. It's up, and then there's errors. And then if I go back and I check, so it's letting me know these URLs are down. So that's a signal that the LTD is probably no longer up and running. So that could be good, could be bad. So that's check URLs. The refund window, it'll grab the dates and flag those. Refund alert sent, just basically letting me know if emails went out. So LTD Tracker alert 3 deals down. And then here, refund deadline. And by the way, even though we're updating on this same status here, it's not that big of a deal. It'll, you'll get the emails, you'll get alerts, and then filter at risk deals.